Oh, we're live. Hi, how you doing? I'm Nat Wood. In case you don't know, I didn't even know we were live. I'm like in my own little zone. Today, my guest is a brother named Rappn Tate X, or just Rappn Tate.
You can say either one, but it's Rappn Tate the Great.
All right. Rappn Tate the Great. He is an artist, an entrepreneur. He's going to be doing some things in Brooklyn in December. He's going to tell us what's going on and what his motivation is, why he does what he does, and what's up. I think it'll be a good show, especially with the holidays coming up. This should be a good show. He's a good brother. So if you guys are ready, when you guys get ready, you can roll that opening, and we will be right back with the one, the only Rappn Tate the Great on 30 frames a second. Where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy. And we are back. Again, I'm Nat Wood. This is 30 frames a second. And in case you missed my very wordy opening, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Rappn Tate the Great. He's an artist. He's a hip-hop artist. He's a performer. He's a entrepreneur. His organization is Christians in Business, I believe it is. And we're going to see some videos, and I'm going to talk to this brother. He's going to tell us what he's doing, why he's doing, and how he started doing it. With that, I would like to introduce to you Rappn Tate. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, brother?
Excellent, excellent, yes, sir. Excellent. So start at the beginning. How did you become who you are today?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to greet you in my land and listeners and audience with Hotep Shalom Abba Gandhi Lafayette, and I'd like to say Islam and Assalamu Alaikum and peace, and may the great Christ himself, who was God and a person that exemplified himself to the world, be among your station and your audience.
Thank you, brother. Peace to you.
I send you also my extended hand and arms from, as being the new appointed minister from Africa, Bambata. We in the Zulu Nation would like to say thank you as well. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We work with some of the Zulu Nation members. They do a lot of good things, especially in the community. So it's no surprise that that you're community oriented. But tell us how you became the artist. How you what set of factors influence your life early on, how you came to be who you are today, what you're doing today, for the reasons that you're doing it today.
Well, first and foremost, I'm here, I've been doing hip-hop for over 18 years. I was raised in Brooklyn, much thanks and respect to my Aunt Clint on birth, and some of the groups you probably knew that I was raised around, but I was a child, but they my cousin and friend, Jerry the Damager, who's from the Brooklyn Dodgers. He's out of Brooklyn, and Intro, which is Buddy Clinton White, is from there. But I grew up around music, and hip-hop started with me, had to be when I was an adolescent in Brooklyn, when hip-hop was just emerging. And then I was in foster care, so I went up to Sea Pleasant, Maryland, lived there for a while, and got in a lot of trouble with my aunt's husband. And so he said, it was time for me to go, and I migrated to Chicago. And from there, I launched off being a hip-hop. You know, I saw a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends. People used to tell me the way I read and things that I sound like radio, and so they used to call me Rap Boy, Rap Tate, whatever, and then people name my name, say you sound so great, and it became Rappn Tate the Great. And being in Chicago, I was able to emerge by working and seeing my peers in hip-hop that couldn't get along, because in Chicago they have diversified, I don't like to say gangs, but street nation affiliations, and because of that, seeing that the brothers was at war with each other in the late 80s and early 90s, 2000, I said, my peers, we need someone to make an example. So I began to by exemplifying myself and using myself to show them the way than just tell them the way.
Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time, but it's important that I spend some time on your background, because they say who you ultimately are is decided within the first 6 years or so of your life. Now, you started off in Brooklyn, and you ended up in Chicago, going to Chicago, and you ended up in foster care. How long were you in foster care?
I was in foster care up to 21. Because I went
you
to a program.
You went. How old were you when you first went?
I was a child. I was a baby. Probably maybe, I don't know, I can't recall it, but my
about 9, 10, 12, 13?
In and out. From baby all the way up to probably.
All right, so your experience, and Chicago is a rough town. There are parts of New York that's kind of rough. There's parts of New Jersey that's very rough. Parts of Philly. It's an urban setting, and it can be quite rough. Your manhood is tested, and to make it out in one piece of one sound mind sometimes requires a lot of tenacity.
Yes.
So you start off in the foster care system. You're in a town like Chicago. There's a lot of violence in Chicago, both within the community itself, us to each other, and coming at us from different places, like the police department. So even if you're trying to do right, there are things that influence how you ultimately make your journey. And you took all of that. You also alluded to some tragedy that happened within your family structure when you were growing up.
Yes. What it is basically, I brought you 3 videos. One was off I started with my little brother. I initially in Chicago, what happened, I took hip hop to another level. I have a program called Hip Hop to Read Literacy, because I had speech impediment, and I suffered with it and didn't really get the help. I got cheated out of my constant vowel sound chart. But it was till I picked up a trombone and began to play a trombone, and I learned the chromatic scales and dramatic scales. And then I even began to learn like R-E-A-D, read sign languages. And it helped my left to the right talent of the brain to be able to analyze and focus. So from that, I took all of what was going on in the streets of Chicago and my peers and the things that I encountered, like you stated, and I took all this peer pressure of things and tried to formalize something great. And so the first thing I did was went and toured as a humanitarian through 386 schools out of 436 of Chicago public schools. I was there. They called me Mr. Reed. Maybe I'm probably the influence why George Bush and everybody wrote the No Child Behind Act, because no one was talking about Reed in the late 80s and 90s. I taught it in Chicago Park District for 10 years. A Jewish guy by the name of Dean Goldberg said that what I was doing, it would be around for a long time to come. So with that, losing and seeing young people getting shot, murdered, and killed, the places I used to be, in the project housings, working there, volunteering unconditionally, and working with Chicago Park District, I literally saw young people get killed. Standing there, it was like being in Iraq. That's why today they call it Shadrach, but I still say Chi-Town. I don't think we are Iraq. I think we have great, brilliant people like in New York, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx. We got young people that's doing some great, phenomenal things, which we'll talk about. But my brother's dead 5 years ago. He got murdered on October 31st, giving his life working for a habitat company in Kentucky. A 3-year-old, 5-year-old mother was at a gas station, and unfortunately from there, he came outside and pleaded with this guy not to murder the family. The guy was supposed to be an initiative to take over as a chief of some street nation. They would not name that. But what happened, he was on the wrong side of the road. It was the identity was correct, but it was the wrong family. And he took out my little brother by saying he wouldn't do it. He turned away, came back, shot him in the knees. Then he took the back of the 38 and printed in his face. And then he fell down and shot him in the side and ran from for our existence. So from there, I had to exhausted myself in Chicago in 200 and 386 schools, all the Chicago Housing Authority. I worked very hard with CHA Housing. I worked with the Chicago Alternative Policing Strategy, and giving all myself as a humanitarian and putting him down in the ground, literally psychologically just told me to part. And I dropped everything, and before I knew it, I've been on the East Coast now 5 years, And after seeing what was happening in Chicago, harassment with officers, seeing the altercations with Frisk Search in New York and through the Bronx, and young people like Ramali, may he rest in peace, and other young people, you get Gardner, and all of these great things that's going on in East St. Louis, and then what's going on in Delaware as well, because I'm out there.
Right.
All of this is what the young people who was asking me, would I come back, would I do something about it, and make a difference with what I've been doing, what I did from the last 15 previous years. So now I took this video, World, we shot that, thanks for the chief out in, Chief Cummins, that's out in Wilmington, Delaware, for allowing us and permission us to shoot this video. And a young brother that shot the video is from the projects. You know, a lot of people talk about what housing authority don't have to offer, but I want to let it be known that we're going to make a difference in hip hop. So World was shot by a young brother in the inner city urban community, and we both combated this. But this song is dedicated, I want to build a relationship with the New York Police Department. I want to build a relationship in CIB, entrepreneur. We want to build a relationship with the housing authorities, and being able to get people to let it be known that, because I got family and have family that are officers as well, but people forget that they come out of the clothes, they're civilians. And some of the officers today wants to get the stigma off because they all are not considered to be bad under the badge, but though there's a lot of illusion and things happening. But my relatives who are officers and things, they asked me, could I do something about it? So I took my brother's death, and with this, and I made the song World, hoping that I can connect with officers by getting their junior officers and things, because that is a career for young people, and take the stigma off by letting civilian officers come and talk about their lives and how they have lost loved ones and how they're being affected with the gun shootings and murders with their own personal families. And so hopefully we can make a difference by building a human relation between communities and officers and society. And let's not too much program and put it all on officers, but let's build, because the community is really the police. The officers come to serve and do what they're supposed to do, but we know the inside out and what's happening.
Well, there's something going on in America that's bigger than any one group of police officers. There's a psychopathic anger in America that just conditions people to have no respect, no regard for other people. And it's manifested in, I mean, if it was just like a precinct in the Bronx or Brooklyn or Manhattan or Jersey, that would be one thing. But as you stated before, this is a phenomenon that's going on all across the United States of America. Some of the footage that comes back, the just inhuman disregard for people of color, by people of color, by people who are not of color, black people first and foremost, but all people of color, brown people, is just staggering.
Well, you know, yeah, and you're right. But one of my things is these youth. There's as it was in the days, first of all, God sent me in hip hop. I want to put this out here. I didn't come here to be some kind of famous person or want popularity. In Matthew 5:16, it said, let your light so shine before others so they see the works of God in you, that they glorify your name. And I have to say this because I am an ex in the nation, but though I've been out in the field working a lot with ministers and others, I have to say that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan resurrected my life as well, because he said a story, and what hit me was about Prophet Muhammad when he couldn't read or write, and it stignified me to really get out here to go after our people. But I tell people in hip-hop, I don't come to preach denomination religion because of our young people today. When you look at hip-hop today, gun violence should have never interrupted. What happened to Big and Tupac, may they rest in peace, should have never happened. When you look at great men like Africa Bambaataa, who started the Zulu Nation, and God chose that man to become who he was. And unfortunately, a lot of the brothers and sisters sold their souls out. But New York is special when it comes to this hip-hop community. Our youth in the community all over the world has been conspirated upon. And they're doing it with the Willie Lynch and some of the Edgar J. Hoover method. And what we have to do today is get our young people to go into themselves, not more monetarily or momentarily being violent, But to be able to conceptualize and go in themselves as I did when in the 80s and 90s and 2000, when they had a lot of the street nations and blood violence and interruption going on. But I have a video that you will show. It's called They Killed Our Leaders. It's only a promo, 1 minute, 8 seconds. And this video is dedicated to what you're seeing going on in East St. Louis, the things that had happened to may rest in peace in his family, to Mr. Gardner and Romali and all of the people who have lost victims to gun violence interruption, period. May it be from the hands of a corrupt officer, or may it be from the hands of someone in the community. But these are human beings. Our young people today need to be able to know and really see true men like yourself and other dignified. We're losing too many young brothers and things in the community, and young people, and young males especially, that are being raised by single moms to homosexual infinity ways. We got to get our young people out of this corruption. So domestic violence is important, and I'm moving with a piece across the nation where I'm going to come dealing with this. But I have over 500 women across the nation, ministers and clergymen, along with male clergymen that have joined with me. I'd like to thank Dr. Dillon's.
They're showing the video now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, when you're ready, you can just show the video and we'll come back.
The suffering of our great leaders. Leaders such as Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X became dangerous. Martin Luther King became dangerous. Elijah Muhammad was dangerous.
All right. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
That video, what inspired you to do that? And
well, you know, God had told me that he was going to be sending me back into the hip-hop world in 2004 and to minister and bringing the brothers in the community together. And he said, this time when I send you as a messenger, the book of Acts 26 says in the NGL 16 through 18, said, I, God, will send my messenger to open the eyes of my people and bring them from out of darkness into the light. So with the amount of killing and me losing my little brother who gave his life to gun violence and things, and seeing what happened to Tupac and Biggie, may they rest in peace, Old Dirty Bastard, Michael Jackson, the list goes on in entertainment with the conspiracy that has been exploited on our people, and the violence that interrupted right now with the blood that spilled in Chicago and all over. This song, I was inspired to let it be known by the illustration and picture on what the world is doing and what's being corrupted. And so I'm hoping that through these videos, illustration, our people, and young people especially, can begin to go back into the knowledge of self and begin to raise themselves up and come out of the stupidness. And in hip-hop, we're taught to use 5 elements. Bambaataa has in his lessons, he states that the, one of the 5th element, but I told him we're now in the Alpha and Omega. This is the Alpha, it's a new beginning. So knowledge was the 5th, but now knowledge is the beginning, because people have lost knowledge to themselves. And I just want to thank the Almighty Creator, because when I was reading in the book of Abraham, God told me in the NGL that how Abraham went and possessed the land of Canaan is how I would send you in the hip-hop nation, and you will go after the Star of David, and you would talk with those young brothers, and you will go after the Ishmael, Abraham, crescent and moon. A lot of our Christian brothers don't know where they call the holy city of Mecca today. That land was once Canaan. And as they kill each other in hip-hop under these stars and flags with ignorance, they fail to realize that they're shooting one of their Abraham brothers and Ishmael brothers. And so these are the things I have to go, because my peers are not at a high standard grade level of sufficient. My generation and their children are at between a grade level, 5th grade, 3rd grade education. So my job is to use myself to God's glory, to engage and emerge and so that we can bring them to the knowledge of self. And once they do, then we can bring them to a hierarchy. We can bring them to, maybe if they say they Bloods or they Crips or whatever, and they say I ride under Christianity, I can send them to people like Reverend Dillon and people like Bambaataa, who teaches no denomination, but he gives them in infinity lessons, great lessons of understanding, understanding, overstanding, where they can be able to. So I'm just coming as a messenger in hip-hop to warn our brothers and sisters, to warn our hip-hop artists who's making all this money, that God is letting it be known that the jig is up. You're making that money, you got your glory, but hip-hop is like the book of Psalms when David had written it upon the walls. We are spoken word, we are graffiti, we're dancers, we're MCs, microphone and control, we're DJs, we're all those great things in which when God detested upon Bambaataa when he resurrected him in his era. So my job is to come as a messenger and compliment and let it be known that no one can take what God gave Africa Bambaataa, and no one can take what God is doing with me, and no one can take what they're going to do with the young people of America. Book of Ezekiel said, blow into those dry bones, wake them, shake them up, rattle them, get them to begin to go into the knowledge of themselves and see. And so this video is inspired from a dream, is inspired from what I have encountered and what I've seen when it comes to this particular video. They killed HOUR, our leader, about an hour every second as the name of your show, 30 Seconds of Fame. There's something that's happening with our young people that's happening in regards to conspiracy.
Now, there's a lot of people who have made the observation that hip-hop actually no longer exists, that it has become this thing, for lack of a better term, that is rap. And Five Elements has nothing to do with it. It is just a means to an end, and the end is about making as much money as you possibly can. And the illusion of a lot of people making a lot of money is just that, an illusion. There's a handful of people making a lot of money. Usually they have not made money through hip-hop or rap. They have made money through marketing. I mean, as big as Nicki Minaj's butt is, she really has not made her fortune from her butt. She has drawn attention to her art form, which has allowed her to market herself in different ways to generate capital. The same thing with guys like Jay-Z. They have been able to start a business just like any other business, sell the business to a conglomerate. The same thing with 50 Cent. 50 Cent has not, 50 Cent has not made any significant amounts of money. He's made a good living, certainly from his rap music. But it has allowed him to buy stocks in companies, sell those stocks to people like Coca-Cola, maximize his return. So a lot of it is that rap, the art, is no longer the purview of artists. It's people who are opportunistic,
right.
and the people seeing this on the street have this misconception, and they are actually being sold a bill of goods because, to the best of my knowledge, Jay-Z ain't never shot nobody. To the best of as a matter of fact, I hear a lot of stuff from 50 about you know, how he was this gangster there, but when 50 was actually in the street, he didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. He didn't make any money until he became more entrepreneurial, went to rap, went to marketing himself. But as far as selling drugs hand to hand, the same thing with Jay-Z or any of them. That is a place where young people see nothing but jail and destruction and the loss of property, but it is not a place where, by any significant number, we have been able to gain wealth and hold it from one generation to the other. Or am I wrong?
Well, let me say this. First of all, I'm not here to degrade or dehumanize none.
I'm not talking about degrading a person. I'm just trying to get to the illusion that young people see when they approach this thing, and it's usually a suicide solution, in my opinion. But you tell me. You're the guest.
Well, no, and I compliment and I welcome your statement. But when I say I'm not here to dehumanize and degrade, I want the artists and the listening audience, and especially the young people who don't have an understanding what's the difference between hip-hop and rap. First of all, rap, I acronym that as recording artists pretending. That's the first thing. What you see out there today is a pretending. God put me here with the Zulu Nation. Brother Ahmed, thanks to him and Queen Pepsi and Cayenne, these people saw something in me. And I know it's only by the devastation in the Zulu Nation and the council to God touching them all and permission to allow me to be here for this moment. I'm doing 2 years of this movement. And I'm going to answer to it because CIB is going to come in. I'm going to talk about my entrepreneur program that I have.
And CIB stands for?
Christian in Business.
Okay, got it.
Okay, which is my spiritual mother's program and our program, which her name is Margarita Cabrera. And we'll talk more on it, and it's a solution. I'm going to answer to what you stated. But I want to go back. First of all, before my coming, when we do the math on this, let's take, this year we're celebrating 40 years of hip-hop. So let's take 15 off, and let's deal with 35 years. Now, my job is not to come and point hands at things. First of all, God gave Afrika Bambaataa a vision to leave from out of Bronx River and travel off a movie he had seen about Shaka Zulu that inspired him. Now he came up, it's true enough, people try to stereotype, but even Jesus came out of the streets, everybody come from out of something. But at the end of the day, these great warriors, even Solomon had wars in the Bible, David himself as well, but they all were able to allow God in them to resurrect them. And so Bam coming out of the street nation, maybe it was called Black Spade, whatever, but he left and went off to the Eastern world, and he was able to engage and learn something that God did in him and allowed him to come from when he once was here. Mother Weenie, who I met, who helped see Bam off to Africa, was telling me the story because she watched him and raised him as a child. And I thank God for letting me meet her on my own personal time, and not because I was a Zulu, but I was able to meet the elders of Bronx River in the community. I have a relationship in New York with elders already. So with that to be constituted and to know Bam's history, Bam, Afrika Bambaataa is a great exemplifier for not only me and for the nation where God has put him in the cornerstone. First of all, Bronx River, I call it now the holy city of Mecca. And from where it started from, out of that little Jerusalem camp, was something that where he came from over, and he used his intelligence from what was in the streets and brought those 5 elements. And it didn't start off with materialistic.
Right.
It didn't start off with money. Him and DJ Kool Herc, Red Alert, and all those greats. Fable, the Elements of King Sloan, of Graffiti, these people, Queen Pepsi, Lisa Lee, these great people before my coming, DJ Yoda X, they was able to utilize all of these great elements and bring together the people and through divisions of New York Housing Authority, as I did in Chicago. And they was able to, Bam was able to show them through the elements how to express themselves. And from there, this germ spread it all across the world for 35 of the years out of these 40 years. Now, this is what happened, what God showed me. When you add up the number 35, it becomes a number 8. When you study algebra, you put a negative, it's a negative integer. What happened was a lot of those great warriors, in Infinity lesson number 5, Bam welcomes organizations. What happened is the brothers got a little lost and went from the knowledge and got caught up into corruption and materialisticism. This is what God showed me. And they sold their souls out and got up in those videos and started doing nudity things and showing themselves off. And the same thing you see in respect to all the young artists like Lil Wayne and all of them, they're not to blame. The Dirty South artists in the South. The industry is who we blame for this, but those brothers before us, and remember, we're not finger pointing out no one, but they sold their souls out. And
well, let me ask you a question, because I understand Bam, and I understand the mindset of those people who are somewhere around my generation, where they were coming from. There has become this strange misinterpreted interpretation of what the streets were. For as long as I can remember, the streets was a method of survival. Number money was not money to corrupt the community. In fact, number money sort of fed the whole community. There were a lot of kids who did a lot of things in the streets, myself included. You know, I'm not squeaky clean. I come out of Harlem. I was born and raised in Harlem Hospital. But the focus was never about getting all the money all the time and doing anything you could to everybody to get there. Now, the generation that came behind me did not land from Mars. They are basically my generation, sons and daughters and grandchildren and younger brothers and sisters. You being of that generation, maybe you can explain or try to explain where the breakdown occurred, where it went so totally from one thing to another.
That's what thank you for that's why I was bringing it to the closure end. There definitely is a generational gap in hip hop, as it is in all organizations and the civil rights movements and all before us. But the point I was making, the reason why I'm using utilizing BAM is because, and to where God has brought me at, is because BAM, a lot of artists is running around and calling themselves the king of this and king of that, but it's only one Jesus. It's only one Prophet Muhammad, one Moses, one Abraham. It's only one man whom God has chosen, and that's why he's still in our midst. That's why Bam Bada is still there, because his job is not over. Because a lot of, and Brother Ahmed and Peps, the job is not over, because a lot of what happened with their peers who went astray and fell off about what it's supposed to have been about, but they left room so that God can raise one himself to be a messenger to their generation, which is my generation. Bam has set the example. He's done his job, his work. Don't mean it's over. He's a guide, he's an instructor now. But his generation, not him per se, they chose to fall off from knowledge, and they went away and sold their souls, and they sold and became industry record holders and stockholders, as you were saying earlier, and buying it too. And then they went to the dirty South because they knew that those brothers in poverty down there, starving, and sisters and brothers, and they utilized them to export tape. See, they tried to get NWA back in the day, but they were smart enough when they met Bam to come to the knowledge of self, and so they couldn't get Ice Cube them. They was able to jig it and utilize. But today, when they did the West Coast and East Coast, they've been trying to do that for the last 30-something years. And when they finally got Biggie and Pops to go in and at it, they're just like David going up against his own son at the time, or Solomon going up against David. So the whole ideology of the whole situation today, for me, my job is to bring in the solution to take what Bam set in stone and take it the way God instructed me in 2004 and what I did in Chicago. So that's why I say there's no finger point at none of their generation. So what I'm doing is taking their generation's mishaps, misunderstanding, understanding.
I don't want to interrupt you. I think we got a phone call. I didn't even realize the time. If you have the phones sort of queued up, you can put the phone call in when you want to. Yeah, caller, can you hear me? I hear your phone feeding back, so turn your phone down and just chime in.
Okay. You hear me?
Yeah, turn your television all the way down.
Turn the phone, turn the
television
down. Turn what down?
The television.
Wait a minute, don't go nowhere.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, you got to turn the TV all the way down. You got to turn the TV all the way down because there's a delay and we hear it on. Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, you know, we were not mature, but let me give you a little history here about how it was in 1961, and a brother by the name of Brother Hannibal. You know, we started the Zulus right there in the Lincoln Project because of the Halloween and all the clubs at that time were doing a little jitterbugging. So we went from 110th Street to 155th Street, and we talked to all the brothers, like the enchanters, the politicians, sportsmen, and we got crews from each and every group, because at that time it was just phasing down. And we was into that red, black, and green thing. But we were not mature enough, like even putting on what they call Father the 5%er, because he had the 5% nation, but he went to Lindsay. And because of a little more mature in certain things, they got the bus ride, they got a little money. But see, we were just, going against things who was attacking our community, and also we was teaching at that time. We taught all over. Even today, I'm 74, and when I walked out, Brother Hannibal, he said, I didn't even know so-and-so and so, but you were the ones that brought this message to us. So I know about Brother Mao, but you were the ones that came up on the stoop and taught us. So we had, a whole lot of brothers and said, brother, you were the ones that started the nation. You and that group you had, Chaka Zulu, and we had another brother, Lumumba, brothers that, what you're doing great work, great service. And so I'll continue to bless you. But I want you to know that, we were here in Harlem, around the Halloween time. That's how that thing started. But because, Allah has a way that it says, think not of my servants as dead, lo, you perceive not, but they live. See, the spirit moves on. That person may not be here. And how many times have you seen a person that you say, hey, man, hey, and we turn around and say, oh, man, you remind me of so-and-so and so. So you see, we have connection. And all I just want to let you know that we were on our front lines doing what we had to do, and we're still doing it, because from that time to now, Allah has blessed me that even though I'm on a wealth, I go to Juma, and I'm still teaching. You know what I'm saying? Wherever if I teach 3 or 4, or I give the Juma class up in the Harlem Hospital on the 3rd floor, I'm still moving. Used to be the security for Brother Farrakhan. When Imam came in, and he turned us all the way around from a nationalistic point of view, Imam Lady Muhammad, and brought us right into the mainstream of Muhammad the Prophet. Universality. So this is the cross. Cross is universality. So all of that was like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He said, I'm like David, I got a blood on my hand. But this other one who's come behind me, his son, Solomon, the wise one, who was ushering in. He said, I'm here to clean up the vessels, but this one's going to put mine into the vessels. So that's what he did. He cleaned us up and made us fit. And we went out there in the streets, sold out papers, and everywhere we went, and Minister Farrakhan and Malcolm and all them brothers, they did great work, and they still doing great work. And I love the brother minister, But like I told a brother who rolled up on me, who was a 5%er, because I know a lot of them, they pass. They're very good with that. You can't argue with a brother pass.
All right.
So he said, brother, I just want to finish this out. He said, brother, what you going to do now? The man's dead. I said to him, brother, I'm Imam W.D. Muhammad. See, we take on that position. And that's the same thing in that picture of Malcolm, where they say, I'm Malcolm X. I'm Malcolm X. See, that's the spirit. And like you was giving the spirit to the brother who raised you up. You know what I mean? And that's what we're supposed to do.
All right, brother. I'm going to have to...
And we got to work this. We got to get business like the PZZ.
Yes, ma'am.
And we got to open up these things in our community.
Yes,
all right, brother. We're gonna have to. We got a whole bunch of calls, and we running out of time.
Peace.
You said a whole lot of stuff,
Peace.
dynamite stuff, but. If you guys got another call, put the call through. I'm just going to take the call. We'll get back to addressing the calls. But
good afternoon, Brother Wood.
Hey, good afternoon, brother. How you doing?
All right, brother. In 1984, Africa Bambaataa and James Brown made a song called Unity. And I think a lot of the young people who don't know anything about hip-hop should download that song and listen to the lyrics between Brother Bambaataa and Brother Brown. Brother Brown was one of the great innovators, and he was one of the originators of hip-hop, whether anybody wants to believe it
Yeah.
or not. Second of all, young people, I think shortly after that period is when the hip hop started going south. And these artists that are out here today are not out here to uplift our young folks, but to keep us locked down. And if these, you know, sometimes I turn the dials and I see some, they call them neighborhood rappers. I call them nervous rappers because they're making videos in the project and in the parks, and you know, they're thinking and they're throwing all this money around, and they think they're balling, and all they're doing is fooling themselves. And the problem with our people today and people in general is that nobody has social skills anymore. Nobody knows how to talk to anybody anymore. Nobody knows how to have a conversation with people. Even in the business world, when you call up a business to get some information, the first thing you hear is an automated voice. There's no human feeling. There's no human regard for anything or anybody, and you know, even our young kids are subject to being part of and being caught of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we need to get out of that and go back to what worked for us back then from the old school. And I think if a lot of people would go back to the old school ways, maybe some of us would be a lot better for it.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Have a good day, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you, brother.
Peace. I want to respond real quick, if I may, for both callers. I want to thank them both, but I want to throw this in because we got some. What I'm doing is my job as a messenger in hip hop is not to come and dwell on the past. My job is to take history and take it into what God has put me at and deal with it hands-on with a solution. I know that BAM have a lot of concern about what has happened. And so one of the things that we're here doing in the Zulu Nation is we're coming, like it or not, pushing positivity, great music for social change. My job right now, I have an entrepreneur program that
we're gonna get into to that. We got a whole bunch of calls, so I want to take a couple of calls, and then we're gonna wrap this up. You're gonna tell me what you're up to. We'll leave enough time for you to tell us all that, but I want to hear from the callers a little bit. If you guys are ready back there, I know we're kind of like short-sheeted on this bed, but if you guys are ready, just let the call through. Yeah, turn your television all the way down as soon as you're on. You're on now.
Oh, are you speaking to me?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. Are you speaking to me?
Yes.
All right. I just want to ask one question.
Yes.
Did you understand? All right. Did you understand?
Yeah, you got to turn your TV down, otherwise you'll be confused because there's a delay.
When he came on and told you about.
Say that again.
Okay,
did I understand?
Did you understand him thoroughly? Because I don't know whether you heard him or not, because he didn't have you on speaker. But did you understand?
Oh yes, I understood. We got the first call. We understood.
Wonderful. That's all I wanted to know.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. You got another call, or should I let the brother start talking? If you. All right. We're gonna let you address some of the calls, some of the things that were said.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank, like I said, once again, all the callers for calling in. But my thing is right now, I'm taking what I did in Chicago and we taking it on the road. I'd like to give a special shout out to Dr. Marcus, who's from out of Brooklyn. He works with the Brooklyn community organizations out there, and to Marguerite Cabarro, and to the Christians in Business, Dr. Dillon. We're working right now, coming up December the 5th, to answer to some of these questions. What I did, I challenged with Mom Margarita Cabarro, my spiritual mother, and Dr. Dillon, to open their doors to allow me to let young people who's out on the community that's not engaged in no type of denominations, but they're doing trying to make a difference with their music and self and trying to find themselves, allow them to come in and have an open forum on their platform. So he agreed to do it as long as we got clean messages and good music. So I want to thank him for that, Dr. Dillon.
That's Dr. Dennis Dillon.
Yes, sir, Dr. Dennis Dillon, right.
Now, I just want to take a minute to allude to what you're referring to.
Okay.
On December 5th and 6th of this year, that's next month, in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah,
Church and Business Community Conference is held December 5th, December 6th. And it's going to be different things happening in Brooklyn from early in the morning, from 9:30 in the morning until the evening. We have
It's a 2-day event.
It's a 2-day event, and some of the people who are going to be involved in the event is Borough President Eric Adams, Calvin Graham. He's president of Bedford Stuyvesant Restoration. We have Reverend Dillon, of course. He's a publisher, CEO, New York Christian Times. We have Kings County District Attorney Kenneth Thompson, Curtis Farrow. He's president, CEO of Irving Street Rep. I'm not sure what that is, but he looks pretty good, so it's something good. We have Reverend Dr. Marvin Hooks. He's the senior pastor at First AME Zion Church, and Linda Dunham, she's the former global chair of Ronald McDonald Charities. And that's just to name a few. There's going to be like a power breakfast, a clergy luncheon. There's going to be wellness and healing. There's going to be the state of banking in Black New York. We have a Marcus Garvey event happening, youth in business happening.
That's our part.
So it's going to be a lot of things happening. Somewhere in there is one or two things that concern you directly. Just looking at the people involved in it, it's going to be a tremendous, tremendous event. And this brother will be, what day will you be on?
We're going to, at the plaza, the address there, we'll be there on December 5th, and we're taking young people in that...
Your youth in business?
Yes, yes, and that's with Margarita Cabral.
Okay, and he'll be there, according to this, it's day 2, that's Saturday, December 2nd, from 12:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. Is that correct? Well, that's what this is.
Okay, yeah, that's something. Yeah, but it should be the 5th and the 6th if it's.
Maybe I'm just overlooking something. I'm a little
okay.
old.
But
A little.
But the thing is that the most important meat of the bone they're going to have on the 6th, where they can bring all the clergymen together at A&M Church, and then we're going to be performing at the plaza with the youth and the vendors. And what we're going to do with the young people is allow these young people, or anyone out there.
Bed-Stuy Restoration Plaza.
Yes, yes.
Okay, this is the address that I have, and you tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. It says the First AME Zion Church. That's 54 McDonough Street.
Right, that'll be on the 6th.
Right, Bed-Stuy Restoration Plaza. That's 1368 Fulton Street.
Yes.
And both of those are in Brooklyn. So I'm sure there'll be more information that's available. I'm sure you can go to a website or something.
Yeah, it should be a website. Christian in Business.
Just type in Christian in Business.
Christian Business Community Conference. They should be able to Google and come up with something off the site.
Right, right. Check this out. There's a lot of things happening and whatnot. As I said, you have anything from wellness to banking to the hip-hop community to the youth community. There's just a lot of things that's going on over these 2 days, and there's a lot of great people involved in it, including this brother here. So look it up, check it out. There's got to be something that you're interested in, because they have everything that you could possibly conceive of.
If they would like to just be able to reach out and get more information, they can just call either 718-797-1382, and just ask for Margarita Cabral, and they'll direct the information on over to her in regards to. And or they can try 917-541-7489, 917-541-7489, and we can probably help them or support and give them more information from there.
Excellent, excellent. Tell me about your organization, CIB, Christians in Business. What is that?
Well, what it is, I teamed up. It's really organization that I partnership with my spiritual mom, Margarita Cabral. It was a concept. She actually has a radio syndication, which I host. I'm a co-host. And I have my own 1-hour spot, which is paid for. And It's going to be.
How do you access that radio station? When is it on?
Okay.
And how do people get a chance to listen to it?
Every fourth Tuesday, we'll be hosting young people that are entrepreneurs. When I mean young, I'm talking about I can be 8 years old with a lemonade stand. But we're going to actually be hosting them. But we're also going to host adults, like yourselves and older, but they have to come with a child on my show.
Right.
Because the whole concept is empowering the youth in entrepreneurship, from hip-hop to Christian hip-hop, non-denomination hip-hop, because I'm a hip-hop artist, and to be able to engage it. So we're real excited because...
How do they access the show?
Basically, they either can go to www.diasporaradio.com. And
Diaspora.com.
yes,
say that again.
That's
Diaspora.com.
Right, .com.
All right.
And they can reach the number like I gave out early, 718, when they call in, or 797-1392. And I'm on every fourth Tuesday from 6 to 7 o'clock, every 4 Tuesdays. Sometimes I'm on extra Tuesdays if it's a special occasion, but most cases, the youth side of things, we're hosting that every 4 Tuesday from 6 to 7. And that's dealing with entrepreneurship from all perspectives and empowering young people throughout New York and throughout the world.
Now, what types of things do you talk about when you address the subject of entrepreneurship, especially to youth? First of all, how do you define youth? What age groups are we talking?
Well, youth is what it is. It's spelled, and then teen and young adolescent. So we can go anywhere from if the child is bright enough, can be 6, 7 years old, all the way up to at least 16. Then from 17, because the children today, age status and mindsets is a little bit different. So 17 up to 25 is one sector. Then from 25 up to 30 is another sector. So 3 divisions of that. But in most cases, we really working hard on those 25, 24 and under, because they are the future of tomorrow, and they are what's the making of what's to come, dealing with high technology and social media today. So that's where we at, and empowering them and making sure we don't have false ministers and clergymen and hypocrite and hypocrisy politicians around us. We want to have the ones that's serious business about this and making a social change for humanity and betterment of our youth. And that's why I want to thank CIB. I want to thank Pastor Dillon. I want to thank the Zulu Nation, Africa Bambaataa. I want to thank people like you for giving us a platform to be able to come and speak. And first and far and last but least, I want to give the Creator who have sent me to do such a task and work. And also, and I want to say this, we have a video that's called Zulus in the House, which is showing the beginning process and letting it be known, featuring Bambaataa DJing on the turntables and me shooting it in Brooklyn, because that's where I'm from.
Now we're running out of time. So
No
David or Nolan or whoever's back there close to a machine, if you could cue up one of those videos before we run out of time, we can show one more video before we bid adieu. While they're looking for that stuff, because I just came with it from out of nowhere.
Yes.
Oh no, these guys fat.
I remember when I was only 13, I woke up crazy out of a wet dream, visualizing the whole world like a dope fiend, reminiscing about this girl named Drury Lane. She used to hit that crack and used to snort cane. She stick needles in her veins like she's insane. She had a cousin by the name of Chicken Wayne, used to do drive-bys, if you know what I mean, until one day he walked up and down the street. Some brothers came up, shot him straight in his face. It's a disgrace, man, to the human race, when the brother didn't have a chance to even pray. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. Everywhere I look, man, everywhere I started turn, I see a shorty on the block steady getting burned. Teenage girls becoming early age parents. No one gives a darn, no one really gives concern. Back at home, brothers going across sea, fighting these wars, man, with HIV. Police steady fighting gangs in our streets, looking for a solution to resolve in peace. Everybody wanna be a rap star on TV. Nobody wants to fight the industry. No one wants to accept responsibility. They drop out of high school with no GED. Father against mother, mother against father. In the madness to domestic violence. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. World goes round, round, round. What goes up must come down. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? This song is dedicated to the Chicago police officer and families and officers of the United States of America that serve our country while serving our community on duty. This is dedicated to all their children whom they have lost to gun violence. And this is also dedicated to all the parents of America who have lost a child to gun violence as well.
Excellent, excellent. We got about a minute left to wrap this up. So tell us about the event. Tell us what you're doing. You got like a minute to do it. I'm going to pass this on to you. So you got a crib sheet if you need it.
Yes, sir.
And bring this to a conclusion, brother.
Well, first of all, we'd like to say once again, CIB and Christian Business would like to thank you all again for allowing me to come on, and as well as send out greetings once again from the Zulu Nation, me being minister for the Zulu Nation. But the event will be on the 5th. All the ministers and clergymen will be coming together with Pastor Dillon at First A&M Zion Church, and that'll be at 54th, I think it's McDowell North Street, and then in Best Status and Registration Plaza, 1368 at Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York. That'll be for the young people, where the entrepreneurship, where the young people be able to sell their merch and their items and things of that nature. But we're going to be dealing with all sorts of tons. And then I just want to say we're also doing a big piece coming up when I drop my new album in next year with women and children and hip-hop and families. And it's already in the making. We got ministers, clergymen from across the United States and across the world that's coming in to get involved heavily in New York, and then we're going to take it across the nation. So it's moving as we speak.
Excellent. I want to thank my crew. I want to thank, we won't be here next week. Next week we're taking off for the holiday. But I want to thank Nolan and David and Veronica and Sheila and Sierra and Lou and everybody on the crew who has helped make this show what it is, whatever that is. We will see you in a couple of weeks. I want to thank my guest, Rappn Tate the Great. Go out and support this thing. We got to look out for each other. It's not enough to be mad at somebody. We got to look out for each other. So as the year comes on, I think that's what we need to concentrate on. Looking out for each other, brother to brother, sister to sister, brother to sister. We will see you in 2 weeks. Peace. We out of here. Thank you so much for joining in.